All right, albedo part 3. We're taking it a step up today and connecting albedo and climate impacts. So keeping in mind our learning targets, we had them, broken down into those 3 questions. What is albedo? We already know that from the background. We've got differences between surfaces that create either a high albedo or a low albedo. So looking at our data, our highest albedo was ice, snow, and melting snow. All of those were our highest categories. So that's what we want to have recorded in here with their percents, right? And then here, thinking about what they all have in common. Are they all light color? Are they all dark color? And what do we know about how much they reflect versus how much they absorb? Reminder, this percentage here is looking at reflectivity, right? So it's saying how much they reflect. So if they reflect a lot, what does that tell us about the level that they absorb? Same question here with low albedo. Looking at our data, our lowest was water, soil, and forest trees. So again, we want those listed here along with their percentages underneath. And again, a little summary of what we know about low albedo surfaces. Are they light? Are they dark? And what do we know about what they reflect versus what they absorb? So thinking about part 3, we're going to look specifically into a couple different surfaces and compare. So you should be side by side filling this in as we go. So fresh snow versus old melting snow. We want to compare their albedos. So looking at fresh snow, that was up here at 85%, melting snow 50. So I'm going to fill those in. And then the question is, why? Why would they have different albedos if they're both snow? What do we notice about them, right? Well, we know albedo is about looking at reflectivity, and coloring of the surface is what determines the albedo. So fresh snow we know is really white, really clean, and going to sound kind of strange, but still frozen, right? Little ice crystals. Where over here, our old melting snow, that's like what we see on the side of the road. We're driving through parking lots. This old melted snow is kind of that grayish color, right? And it's gray because it has a few things mixed in. It's got dirt, it's got soil, rocks, sand sometimes from parking lots, and it has water mixed in. Water was one of our lowest albedos because that snow is starting to melt now. So when we think about why they have different albedos, well, it has to do with what they're consisted of, right? What they're made of, what their surface is like. So you've got a sentence or two that you're going to fill in here. Fresh snow has this albedo because, tell us why, and put the data in there. Same thing with old melting snow. Has this albedo, which is a little lower, because here's what we know. So make sure you get at least 2 sentences up in here, and you're including the data to support your statement. Number 2 here, again, a comparison. So we want to find sea ice and ocean. So 6 and 60%. And we want to know which material absorbs more. Again, supporting that with some data. So again, a reminder, this number here is the albedo, or how much solar energy is being reflected. So if sea ice is reflecting 60%, what do we know about the amount it's absorbing? And same question with ocean water. If it's reflecting 6%, what do we know about how much it's absorbing? So again, give a comparison. Sea ice absorbs more or less because, here's what we know, put the data in, Ocean water absorbs more or less. Here's what we know. Put the data in. The rest of your activity here is outlined by a couple videos. So here, all of them found in Schoology. Arctic Changes, the Big Picture, that's a YouTube video. Check it out to get some background on what's happening with ice in the poles. Here, number 9 is a little notes video from Mr. Mahady explaining this idea of feedback loop and how what's happening in the poles is kind of on a repeat cycle. And the last part here, back to YouTube for another final video, kind of seeing, well, what's next, right? What are we seeing because of those trends? So reminder, when you're done, don't forget to submit to Schoology. Work through those learning targets.